Mm-hmm. 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 Surprise, traders! How we doing, guys? God bless each and every single one of you. Today, we're going to be getting into stock ticker NIO, baby, and the broader market, what is happening, and what I expect to happen. So if you guys enjoy the content, slap the like button and stay the full length. Our last NIO video had 160 likes and almost 1.8K views. NIO stock has been seeing a little bit of a rally today, up 3.05% on the day. But on the week, right, you saw a little bit of a retracement off of this bullish price action, making higher highs and higher lows. And you're starting to see a little bit of a retest of this descending channel. But I want to keep you guys up to date on the bullish and the bearish scenarios, so make sure to stay the full length. All right, let's jump straight into the technical analysis, because on NIO stock, as we stated, you do have a bullish retest of the descending channel. Now, where this comes in is you need to hold the horizontal support of 580. And you've seen a little bit of a nice bounce off of that, right? But what you're printing right now is a daily inside bar, which is just bearish continuation. You saw a down candle, down 7.51%, and then consolidating up 3% today, right? But what we're watching here is a retest of this previous high, and this is almost like a very similar formation to IWM on the monthly chart, which is that cup breakout handle retest, right? And that's what you're getting on NIO stock. But the bearish standpoint here is two things. You had a previous support trend that you dropped and then have retested and rejected. That's bearish, right? We don't want to see that. From that drop, you saw an increase in volume, and that was off of your 8% drop. So you need to see the bull step in here if you want to take this thing back up and hopefully, right, start to make some higher lows and higher highs. If that does not happen, the bearish case scenario here for NIO, if you drop 581, your previous low, and your high here of 580, the bearish case scenario is that this is more of a rounding top of a shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then you break that, right? Theoretically, that price target, if you were to swing short, which I'm not going to, but if you did, right, that price target takes you right around our uptrend. So some technical confluence there for you guys. If we are to see a pullback in the broader market, I expect this thing to first find resistance, of course, at 560, and then come down here to around $4.90 to $5 flat. Now, the bullish case scenario here for NIO stock is if that happens, because I'm always going to be a NIO bull, can't stop, won't stop, is you retest and you fill the gap currently sitting at 498. That would be your technical gap fill. And off of that, you hopefully would see a nice reaction and then a rebound on the stock. But there's so many different scenarios that could happen before that. I just want to make sure we're prepared for every single one of those scenarios. All right, bearish case aside, let's kind of zoom out here, right? Because when you're in doubt, you zoom out. And the price on the macro is what I still want to talk about, because the price of the macro is everything, guys. On the monthly chart, you have a pretty beautiful couple of months. Now, you saw a pretty big ramp up in volume back in July, August, September during the summer months, decrease in volume during the bear market, right, of 4 or 5 months. And then now you've seen that swiftly turn around. But what's important here is off of this retest, although we're only 4 days through, of course, you're respecting these horizontal levels. That's going to be very important to see if you can continue to do so. On the monthly time frame, we also talked about the Bollinger Bands, right? And on the Bollinger Bands, you are seeing a little bit of squeezing. What I'd like to see is, even if we pull back here, hold that middle Bollinger Band, currently sitting at 512, and that should act as a nice launch pad for NIO stock to then find its horizontal break, which, in case you guys do not know, on this channel, we have been talking about for quite some time, the fact that 771 is your all-time target on this stock. right? Although it's not a target for profits for me, it is a profit. It is a target that I'm watching for this thing to go absolutely ballistic. And if you see that thing break, right, you see how perfectly it is respected here off of this dump, retest, and then hopefully retest again. And then, of course, how you launched off of it from $7.70 upwards of $16. The price, once you get above this, guys, moves very, very fast. So what I expect here is even if you see a nice little launch or a nice little bid off of the stock, you're probably going to retest 771 and then maybe fall flat if you retest this and fail, right? You might have to find a higher low before you inevitably break that and then go parabolic. I do strongly believe in the fundamentals of the stock. As you can see, some current earnings for you happening on June, but bigger news than that, right? NIO posts strong deliveries and accelerates SUV lineup expansion. I think that is going to be key if you can continue to expand on top line sales, cut costs, and increase the margin of the company. Of course, it's going to be profitable, but there's a lot that has to happen on the chart in order to gain 771 as new support, guys. That's what we're watching for on the macro of NIO stock. On the weekly time frame, not much has changed. Got to give that a little refresh. Let's pull up NIO. Go to the weekly. So on the weekly, not much has changed. We did have that news yesterday. NIO stock jumps overnight. EV maker brings back original chief to run software behind its cars. I think that's super cool. You have earnings coming up. So a lot of positive catalysts here for volume to step back into the stock. I think the biggest one, though, right now is can you hold 580? Failure to do so leads to a head and shoulders playing out. And then you making a potential dip buying opportunity. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor at all, but you've had some pretty nice launches off of this trend line, right? I mean, you're talking 50%, you're talking 140%, and then just its recent tap off a year has been 60%. So even if you come back to test this, which I don't think you will, and on all transparency, I'm in the bullish case scenario here that you're going to hold 580 and then rally to 771. But even if that is the case, traders, that offers a very, very ripe opportunity for you guys to either average down or load up on calls. On the shorter time frames, though, I wanted to check on the daily. You did not fill the gap, currently sitting at 711 during your last swing up, and you've created a new trend line to watch for potential rejection, right? New resistance trend. See if I can potentially make a little bit of a parallel channel here. Kind of, right? So if you find this bounce off of the 50-day EMA, which would be substantially bullish, hopefully that gives you a launch, just like it did here, right? I mean, NIO stock respects the 50 so well. You saw the bounce off the golden cross. You saw the rejection here off the 50. You saw the bounce off the 50. And then the same thing here, right? Off the 200. So that's something to watch for, is if you're able to bounce here, it's likely you come up to this resistance trend and then find a higher low and then go back for a second or third rally. My long-term thesis on NIO stays the exact same, that you are looking to make an inverted head and shoulders. And that neckline being broken at 771 gives you a potential profit target currently sitting at about 20 schmeckles, guys. So this thing could get crazy over the summer. I'll be continuing to post and let you guys know what the volume looks like, what's the invalidation points in my opinion, but the stock still looks set up and looks good. On the quarterly chart, something I haven't looked at on a long, long time, But the quarterly chart, we're watching for a quarterly MACD cross, traders. And what this gives us is the first bullish macro swing in over 6 years, right? So the last time you get a quarterly MACD flip, you saw a lot of the risk on assets fly to the freaking moon. And what you're seeing right now is a very close constricting or tightening of the MACD. Now, we know MACD is a lagging indicator, right? So you are already up 177%. But the follow through, right? Even if you were uncertain about this inverted head and shoulders, the follow through that would come being 174 and 129 with blow off top to 69 or $67 is a beautiful trading opportunity. So I just want to keep that, guys, on your radar. For IWM, because this does pertain very heavily to Neostock. In fact, the first time Neostock ran like crazy was back here, right? And although we may not be in that same run-up, we're in our own bullish scenario of it, right? Cup, handle, break, retest, bullish, engulfing, traders. This has happened so few times, but every single time you see a bullish engulfing, right, it is the beginning of a beautiful move. I can outline it here. Just a couple examples for you guys. Bam. That move was a bullish engulfing. Bullish engulfing. I'm just completely improving right now, right? Let's see. Bullish engulfing. Close to a bullish engulfing. Oh, that's a beautiful one, right? Bullish engulfing. So when you see these kinds of candlestick patterns, guys, the following few months, because this is on a macro chart, is very bullish on the time frames. Now, not only did you get a retest of this neckline on IWM, which will lead to hopefully a very risk-on assets market, as soon as we see whatever happens with the war in Iran fizzle up and hopefully everyone's gas comes back down, you also have on the RSI a very substantial breakout of this down-sloping trend on the monthly time frame, and then a retest and a bounce, guys. So in my belief, I think that IWM will have no problem with either consolidating at these all-time highs or smashing through this and going to 300. And it is in my belief that the best is yet to come. Hopefully you see IWM trade in the overbought territory for the first time since 2021, guys. It would be a blast to have that with you guys. If you're finding a lot of stuff on this channel, informational, if you love the passion which I speak, I would appreciate if you just slap the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2K. As you can see, we're upwards of 1,600 now. So that's all I got for the day. God bless each and every single one of you guys. Hopefully you had a great time today. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.